Hi, I'm Blake.
I'm Zach.
I'm
I'm a
Max.
great one.
And this is OnlyBands.
OnlyBands. Yay.
Yeah. Somewhat okay. So, friends, we are here with Max Gilder. I don't know if I pronounced that last name right. Gilder.
It's Gilder, yeah.
Yeah. We're here with Max Gilder today, and Max is in many bands doing a solo project, and he's gonna tell us a little bit about himself once he finishes pouring his tea.
Yes.
Gotta pour that tea.
Yeah, I need caffeine. I need caffeine.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely one part of the self-care part of the podcast.
Yes.
Is it indulging in a mild caffeine habit?
Indulging, yeah, that's the word.
Yeah. So
Jinx.
Jinx.
Go for it.
Right. I figured I would. Right. I figured someone would ask me a question. I don't really know where to start.
I did ask.
Wait, you did? Did I just miss it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Just tell us more about your projects. Explain all the things that you're in.
Okay. So, I'm in Watersdeep. That's a kind of pop punk band that also uses 7-string guitars, and it's
incredible.
Fun. It's a lot of
amazing.
Fun.
It's an amazing, incredible band. If you like J-rock, listen to that fucking band. It's
highly recommended.
I appreciate that. The other thing I'm doing more intensely right now is the I guess it's kind of metalcore. I don't know what fucking genre is this band? I guess it's just like a day to remember core, like
okay,
without the accent. Is like, we're trying to release something really soon. Actually, Andrew's coming over to track some stuff after this. But we were originally going to release something relatively soon, and it was written like Andrew wrote it during like the BLM stuff last year, and it was called Riot, and we were going to release it, and then January 6th happened, and it was just the wrong sort of vibe.
Yeah. Wrong vibe.
No, it didn't. Yeah. It did not. It's just so bad. Fucking terrorists ruin everything.
It's literally like them outside the Capitol singing along to Rage Against the Machine. Like that kind of shit would have gotten pulled. Yeah.
Yeah.
Certified bro moment.
Certified bro moment. Now they do what you told you. Donald Trump. Like, ugh, it hurts.
It was the first time a Confederate flag has flown inside the Capitol.
Yep. I know.
As far as I'm aware, at least.
No, it was the first time.
It was.
Baller. So, yeah, that happens. It's just fucking ridiculous, and we just decided to shelf that song that we were working on and instead just go for a different one that we had in the works and fully put our energy into that one and release that song instead, which is what we're working on now, and it's going pretty well. It's like got, for some reason, just like serious like nu metal vibes to it. It's like
hell yeah.
It's in like a ton of metalcore as well. It's like a combination of, like, when Andrew wrote this, like, and he brought it to me, I'm like, well, this sounds like if System of a Down had a baby with Bless the Fall. It's fucking weird. It's so weird.
Like, can we just agree real quick that there's not enough nu metal coming out these days?
Dead ass.
But I mean, yeah, nu metal is, well, I mean, it's not dead, but it's it is what it is. There is actually
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like
I feel like
metal kind of got absorbed into metalcore.
I would. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of people like. I feel like a lot of people took new metal and went one of two ways with it. Like they either went to like Hollywood Undead, or they went to like metalcore. You know.
Yeah.
And like, it's because we all shit on it. Like back in the day, we were like, this sounds so dumb. Like, like this is like, but like we still loved it. You know. It was kind of like an irony turned serious thing, and now it's just a very serious like, no, new metal goes hard. Like, like if you listen to like Limp Bizkit, like you absolutely listen to it ironically at first, and then it's just like, no, this fucks.
Yeah. That's a mood.
That's true. I mean, if System of a Down figures in as new metal, then I never got off that.
Oh, then yeah, that's never been ironic. That's just always been art.
Yeah. Well, System is also just kind of a perfect band in a lot of ways.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Watersdeep without the accent.
People that I know about. There's a really great new metal band not new metal, like they're like metalcore, but they do like a lot of like rap and new metal stuff. It's coming out of Virginia. They're called Aura. They have a song called Hope is a Prison that really, really, really fucks.
Aura, like you know, the thing that surrounds the body and energy, or aura like the thing that Jotaro says in JoJo?
Yeah, the first one. The first one.
Okay, cool. No, that's fine.
The first one.
No, of course, obviously. But so yeah, without the accent and Watersdeep, but you have your solo project as well, right?
I do. Planet Buster. I released one thing like 3 weeks ago, and I have not had the presence of mind to really work on much music since then, because like I got really deep into winter semester classes, and now last spring semester, this spring semester is the final one that I have to do. Mm-hmm. God, now it's already kicking off, and I'm like, oh man, I have so little brain space to actually work on things that I want to work on. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to get an acoustic guitar though, so that's
hell yeah. I mean, I feel like when it comes to stuff like that, like, you know, it always comes down to like do I expend the energy that it would take to put this out just for the sake of putting it out, or do I wait until I have the proper amount of energy to make something that I'm really passionate about, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I definitely fall into like, especially lately, I've been in like that kind of slump. Like I feel I've definitely fallen into that cycle of like, well, I'm not feeling it, so I won't do it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, there's just certain things that you just have to wait on.
Push yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait. Sometimes you just. I know I have to push myself to some degree, because like otherwise I'm not going to get shit done. Because I've been trying to work on this thing for a while that I just haven't been able to put out or push myself to finish, because it's labor intensive, it's long, and it's in complex time signatures, and it's just a fucking. It's a tragedy.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like it becomes like really worth it, and like it's worth stressing over. It is 100. Like I will say that 100%. Like something like that is definitely worth stressing over, but it's not worth ruining your entire mental state over. Like I had like a whole manic like cycle of like working on things for like a good 2 weeks straight. Just like I would go to work, I would come home, and I would get to work on my computer, and then I just burnt out. And like I haven't touched any of those projects since.
There are some things in life that are definitely worth stressing over, but there's nothing in life worth ruining your mental health over.
Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. So you said for without the accent that someone's coming over to track more of that.
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that song?
So it's like Andrew started writing this basically just because he wanted to write about trying to make music during COVID, and just wanting to get back out into the real grind,
mm-hmm.
and not being able to. And like there was a brief period with the Maryland music scene where they were trying to do shows again, but it just didn't go anywhere because nobody was going out, and also it was a stupid fucking idea.
Yes.
Andrew's other band like managed to get on one of those shows, and Andrew fell off the stage and broke his leg. And he just got, I mean, he's like at the tail end of like rehab right now because it was just so absolutely shattered.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was a really.
What was he doing?
I don't know.
What?
I'm still not entirely sure how it happened. I think he just fell off stage like right onto his leg.
Oh my
and
god!
It was fucked. And he's in a much better place now. But for a month he was literally not able to do anything, and that's part of like what was motivating the energy behind the song too, was just that he was stuck. He was barely able to. He was like the one thing he was able to do was like write lyrics maybe, but he couldn't like he didn't have the emotional energy or the ability so much to like pick up and play the guitar, because he was just like half his right leg was just in like a gigantic cast.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's definitely like I imagine it's very awkward to even get into the position to put the guitar in the correct. Yeah, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
No,
I've always wondered about
he's
that.
Going through now.
Does does he have like a job? Like what? Well, obviously he has a job. Like what does he do? Do you know?
Yeah, he couldn't really do it because he had to take off work. He does like home renovation stuff, and you need to be able to move for that. So he got completely fucked out of that.
Mm-hmm. I was just wondering because like I work retail, and I've always wondered like, dude, if I just like broke my leg, then I no longer have the option to stand for 8 hours a time at a day.
Yeah.
And like, but like at the same time, it's like some like things like that, they can be like a blessing and a curse. Cause like you said, he was this is it kind of like brings that motivation and that energy for him to be able to write that song. And like, I know that Doubleheader, my band, has like had a lot of that recently, like with COVID, especially like we, over the time of quarantine, we were supposed to have our first show. And then the day of our first show was the day that the state went on lockdown.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So like
something crazy is that we had a show, honestly me, that we were going to announce, and it was 2 days after that COVID got shut down that it was supposed to happen. And it was going to be at Chain. Out of all places, it was going to be at Chain Reaction.
That sucks.
You're talking to East Coast boys. I have no idea what that is.
Yeah.
It's one of the most iconic venues in California. Like, if you play at Chain, there's a high chance you make it big. Like,
that's
every single big... If I could count the number of big bands that have played at Chain or started playing at Chain that made it big, you'd be like, oh my god. Like, seriously.
I'm flying out.
Name a band.
I'm flying out.
Yeah. Like...
real quick, sorry, just to finish my thought from earlier. Our shows got canceled, but like at the same time, I always saw that as like a curse. Like as it happened, I was like, this is the worst thing that could possibly happen. But over time, I realized how much of a blessing it was, because if we went on stage like with the quality of music that we had at that time, without having like the opportunity to really sit down and focus on it the way that we have, I would have wanted to blow my brains out.
Yeah.
Mood.
That feeling.
That's such a mood. We played a show, honestly me, with Good Nights Podcast, and it made me realize that quarantine was such a blessing because we could actually work on our stuff instead of just putting like a half-assed performance like we did there.
We also for Finterfest, when Doubleheader played, even that short amount of time that it's been since that aired, like I sat there and I was like, wow, we've improved so much from this.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's such like a wild, it's like a hyperbolic time chamber. You know?
Kind of is. Yeah, you have this kind of Yeah, like 2020, like the last, my chair just fucked up. Hang on. The last like year or so, like has been like it has put a lot of things on like pause, and it's allowed a lot of people to hone their craft. And I mean, the same, it was kind of the problem with Andrew, just destroying his leg or foot, that general area, was that he didn't really have the opportunity to like fully work on stuff, but he like was just spending like that in like weeks just getting more and more like frustrated and amped. And as soon as he could basically move, he was like, okay, so we're going to release this song in a month and a half. I'm like, this was back when we were going to release Riot, and I was like, fuck, can we do that? And we would have been able to, which is like, we now know that we're capable of that, which is insane.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like, I feel like we definitely, as like, local scene musicians, like local level musicians, have this like this preconditioning to underestimate ourselves.
Definitely.
Yeah, because like DIY in and of itself is, of course, like a sustainable thing. It's its own genre at this point. But at the same time, like, you sit there and you're like, that's not the goal. Like, you're like, oh, I want to work with this big producer so that he does this big thing and it like does all these things. But really, like, you have to really question like how much that's going to do for you. Because like at the end of the day, like if you put the time in and if you have the knowledge base and like the right equipment, which I mean, of course, is the hardest part, like being able to like get a hold of that kind of equipment and having that knowledge base. But even with like lower quality equipment and like more time and effort put into it, you can release something like just as good as if any like big producer was going to do it, and twice as genuine.
Yeah. I think if you hone your craft, you can get places with it.
For sure.
That's and this is getting 2020 is giving a lot of people a chance to do that.
Yeah, thank God. Like honestly, I have seen like somewhat of a renaissance in local music, like just from quality alone. Like bands that like wanted to start before are starting now, and like really like putting something like Doubleheader. Like we broke up for 3 years, and like now we're back with a new lineup, like actually putting things out that it took us 2 years to even conceive, and like just like it's not even like we're putting out the same thing that we wrote whenever ago, because like we are looking at it now and improving it. So it's like it's such it is really weird how it's like affected just the overall quality pool.
Yes, it is an infection, like a disease.
Yes, absolutely. You could say it's a virus of sorts.
You could. It's like COVID.
Oh no. Oh my God.
Real quick, so most people don't know, we actually have recorded this podcast before, but we lost footage. So we are recording again, and we had such a fun time last time that we were just like, no, Max is coming up first. But I know that we asked this question last time, but I really want it on film. Where did the name Planet Buster come from? Because it's the coolest name I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I love this answer. Love this answer.
Spore. Yep. Spore.
Spore.
Because initially I thought it was a Warhammer thing, because I know that my buddy old pal Max here loves his Warhammer.
I sure do.
To the point that like he follows lore, which I didn't know existed. But no, it's from popular video game series where you make cute creatures that kill other creatures and survive and evolve. Spore.
And it's Spore. It's just Spore.
And what does Planet Buster do in Spore?
Planet Buster is when you get to the space age, basically. It's a super weapon that you can get that blows up, that just eradicates a planet. Like, it's literally what it sounds like. You just fly over a planet, you click on it, and that planet fucking explodes and is gone. It's ceased to exist. It fully just no longer exists. And it's insane. And I didn't know, like when I first got it, I was like 9 or 10, and I got it. And I'm like, what the fuck does this do? And I flew over what was unfortunately a friendly planet, and I clicked on it, and it just went. And I was so shocked that it stuck with me for my entire life up until this point.
Dude, I just accidentally whipped and nay-nayed this peaceful species.
Yeah, literally. It was a mess. It was so terrible because I'm like, oh, these guys are cool. Oh, they don't like me anymore.
That is, yeah, they can't. They no longer can like you. I really needed that experience to be on camera. It's like,
I fully agree.
I've had so many experiences like that in video games that I just really needed to be validated with that one. But a lot of what we like to talk about on OnlyBands is specifically the self-care. OnlyBands is specifically the self-care aspect of making music and just like the psychological impact of it and how people deal with it. And we've been talking about that a little bit up to now, but like I really want to get into the subject. And like I know that a lot of what we talked about last time was like how to stay productive, like how to balance your hobbies with your actual, like what needs to be done, because once you are dedicating to music as like a potential career, it's no longer a hobby. And so obviously you're looking for things to distract yourself from it. So like I'd like to get back into that subject. I know we like, because you and I, like, we love video games. Like we play video games all the fucking time, and we're talking about like how I specifically at that time was dealing with like, oh, like I just haven't been productive at all because I've been like so sad and looking for any kind of distraction. So I was just playing Cyberpunk like for like days and like I would get home and my responsibility after getting home was progressing in Cyberpunk. So like,
I mean, how is that game though?
Oh, it's good. It like it really a lot of people were saying that like, oh, the bugs ruin it, but I didn't even experience really any bugs, especially nothing game breaking. Don't know what happened. I think I just got the good copy.
Yeah,
but
I had a couple of ones that were game breaking. I haven't picked it up in a while. I think maybe I'll pick it up more intensely at some point, but like it hasn't gripped me as much as I wish it had.
Yeah,
but
I'm waiting for the July patch.
Oh man, I didn't know that was happening. I can't wait till that happens.
Well, it's scheduled for quote unquote July, but like I'm waiting for them to add like post character creation, character customization. You know, like I want to at least be able to change my fucking nail color. Like, come on. Like I painted my nails and I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll probably change it to the other one at some point. But no, I can change the function of my arms, but not what they look like. There's some stuff about it where I'm just like, well, okay. There's it is really, even for me, even on Xbox, a lot of it is pretty, like a lot of it's really pretty, but there's some stuff where like it's just the primary gameplay loop is not, it doesn't quite do it for me. Like, I mean, I think I kind of have had the same kind of problem when I play Grand Theft Auto. Is it's just it loses its grip on me relatively quickly, and I don't really know why. I don't know why, but like, I mean, in other games, like, you know, like shooters, it's the same thing over and over again. But that's at least with particular shooters, with the ones I play, like, you know, Halo, Titanfall, that kind of stuff. The primary gameplay loop is pretty simple, but it's really, really fucking fun. Like, you know, just bouncing off walls and like essentially like just doing stunts. Well, that is like, the thing. Like in that small circle of like that loop, there are so many forms of variation that can take place, especially in the competitive aspect.
Exactly. And it's just, if you make it complex enough, it really works out, because I think the best thing you can do when you create a shooter is make it kind of, I don't know, it's like, it's not just, you know, to borrow from a content creator on YouTube is like point and click at the thing dies. It's like you got to make it kind of an active. It's like an active problem solving experience essentially.
Yeah,
or an active
it's
puzzle.
When it is a skill curve, like you need that like if I get better at this, I will be better at this.
That's like what I mean though is like,
especially like Titanfall specifically. It's like if I'm getting better at like jumping off walls and then just dead aiming someone in the head midair, like then okay, then I can love myself.
Yeah, but what I mean more though is true. But what I mean more in the sense of that is just like you get put in, you know, a situation and you have to figure your way. You have to, at the end of the day, figure your way out of that situation. And it's like it's problem solving. It's like a puzzle. And that is the kind of thing that really gets me with these games is like you don't just point and click at the thing. You have to figure out the best way to point and click at the thing. And I don't really get that so much with like Cyberpunk. It is very much just like locate bad guy, maybe with camera, shoot bad guy.
Well, that's true. But the other thing is like Cyberpunk 100%, there is a dominant strategy. Like there's like, it is a solved game and it comes to you as a solved game, but you can make that game really complex for yourself. Like if you want to, like it, like I just like once I got Mantis arms, I was just like, I'm having so much more fun right now because it stopped being, I just shot this guy. It started being, all right, so what I want to do this time is I want to jump over this guy onto the guy behind him, stab him, terrify the two behind him, quick turn around, blow that dude's head off with a revolver. Then I'm going to switch to my katana. Then I'm going to use Sandavestin and just kind of just slash through them in slow motion. And it's so cool. Like
that sounds ridiculously violent.
Yeah, it's great.
I really got to put more time into that game, I think.
Yeah, it is definitely, it gets a lot better the more, like that's why I'm waiting for another patch because I want to, like, I want that game to have more content. It has a ton of content, but I've already completed it all, you know? Like not all of it. I did fail some quest lines that didn't continue, but like, I want to start, what I really want to do more than anything is I want to start a playthrough where I just role play Batman.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm completely non-lethal. I'm a male character, circumcised penis, because Batman does in fact, I looked it up just so that I knew for when I started this playthrough, Batman has a circumcised penis. Max. I'm gonna make his eyes pure white, and all of my clothes can only be black, so that whenever I put a mask on, it's just pure white.
Oh my God. Yeah, right.
Mission Music's event coordinator, everyone.
Yes, I'm coordinating my own events. And then I can only be non-lethal through the entire thing. I'm not gonna waste my time with like a stealthy one. I'm gonna be more of a Christopher Nolan as Batman, but as much as I hate Christopher Nolan's Batman. But in it, even just now, we got distracted from the topic at hand.
Right.
Like, we started talking about the thing that we want to talk about because we love this thing, but it is the distraction from the thing that is our responsibility.
Yeah, I mean that kind of leads into the issue that I run into a lot of times with like trying to create stuff and trying to work on stuff is that I get distracted by other things.
Yeah.
Mood.
I mean, and sometimes it's like other music distracting me from music I'm supposed to be doing is the issue. Because I kind of, it's like most of what I do, honestly, is just like make music and fuck around pretty much with music stuff. I don't do that much else. Like I do like the Warhammer painting thing. I play video games.
Yeah.
But I don't really like the main thing that I'm doing like for most of my like awake time is like music and school, but like it's music. And it's just all it's the prioritizing of different like projects within the music that's important, but then also like prioritizing the music as it pertains to everything else in your life as well. And I mean, the issue I keep running into is I keep not practicing drums enough. because I just like the entire, like I use my entire energy to work on like either whether it's school or generally it's school at this point, but like if I'm trying to work on a music project and I get something done, I'm like I should play drums, and like I can't.
Yeah.
That really manages to fuck with me too. But I mean the other issue is just like remembering that if you can't do something, that's okay, you'll get around to it if you're supposed to be doing it. And if not, it's just you move on to the next thing, or you work on the next thing. You kind of, if it's not a currently solvable problem, you need to get to a point where you can solve it, but you can't just keep banging your head against the wall. As even sometimes that'll get you places, but most of the time you'll just get more and more frustrated. These diminishing returns are a very, very real thing.
And even that in and of itself is self-care, just like not pushing yourself past your limit. If you're hitting the wall, it would be probably wise to not hit yourself against the wall again.
That's like because I went through like a real big slump recently, and like I feel like I'm kind of coming out of it, but even like in the middle of that slump, like doubleheader at studio time that I was going to just work on shit, but like I've just been building Gunpla. Like I've literally just been building Gundam model kits like nonstop, and like I managed to pull myself out of it to a certain extent, but like I definitely still find myself like it's weird. Like I have this weird like my priorities are definitely like very skewed. Like I'll come home from work and then I'll get mad at myself because I feel like I'm not being productive. But in reality, it's that I feel like, finishing this model kit or like getting to this point in this video game is suddenly more of a responsibility to me. Like I'm more focused on it than like, because like I'm not making money off music, like right now it is still technically just a hobby, but like I still look at it as more of a responsibility. So if I have the choice, I'm going to choose the thing that is instant gratification, make brain chemical happy.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like it is very weird, but like it is definitely like something that both you can pull yourself out of, and it's also something that you can forgive yourself for every once in a while.
Yeah. Because I mean, like, there's also, like resting is not being lazy.
Yeah.
Either. That's something like it's getting, especially like, because most people who make music have with most people who make music, there's something wrong with their brain, and that's
That's actually pretty accurate, unfortunately, but fortunately.
No, because we write interesting stuff, but it's also but you have to oftentimes either you can try and push through it, but if you can't push through it, you have to find ways to work around it. And a lot of that involves just taking time and thinking and detangling your brain, essentially. And that's an important process. I mean, to just being able to work on shit. I mean, I spend like a bunch of what I've been doing to detangle is just I've been fucking with this acoustic guitar that I got, and because I haven't had an acoustic in like 3 years or something like that, like an insane amount of time. And it helps me relax and think of new, like how to approach music stuff and just how to approach all the other shit that I have to do as well.
Yeah.
But it's just you need to be able to take a breath, because if you don't, the longer you spend not taking a breath, the more you will have to eventually, because like it's generally not like you have to relax that much less if you don't relax or if you don't take time for yourself. It just wears on you and it makes your work worse, and you inevitably end up taking more time to just try and regather yourself after you just completely destroy your ability to do anything because you've just been going and going and going and going and going.
Yep.
And that's also kind of the curse of when you start working on something and you get really invested in it, and then you've spent 5 hours on it and you come out of it and you're just like, you immediately just kind of plummet.
Yeah,
at least I had that experience. Yeah. That happens to me all the time. Pretty much with everything I do, if I'm being honest.
Definitely.
I mean, honestly, even with Gunpla, even with building model kits, like I like hit like that level where I'm just like, I just built 3 of them. Like now I'm just burnt out on it. What else am I gonna do? I'm so bored.
Yeah. So outside of music, because you focus pretty heavily on music, what are your top 5 favorite self-care things to do? Like if you had to take music and music-related activities completely out of the equation, what are your top 5?
Paint. Started sketching again. That helps and is fun. The equation. Oh yeah, I build Bionicles too. That's fun.
Hell yeah.
All right.
What else do I do? Oh god. Well, video games. And just watching endless amounts of YouTube videos. Like
nice.
Yes.
That's pretty much where I'm at.
I do think that the one thing that makes anything and everything easier is being able to have a YouTube video on the same time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I feel like videos in general, like whether it's a YouTube video or a Netflix show or a certain kind of movie, as long as there's something to watch, everyone has one of those.
Yeah.
Who are your favorites?
I agree. YouTube, let's see. I mean, Rooster Teeth.
Hell yeah.
I've been watching those guys since I was probably 11. I've been watching those guys for over a decade.
Wow.
I was on the Red versus Blue train too.
Yeah. Then what else? Still love I love Markiplier because he's just kind of gone. He's been doing steadily more and more insane stuff. It's just really, really fun.
He's great.
Yeah, he's really great.
He's a pure boy.
Pure is I don't know if pure is the right word, but it certainly is a word. There's a lot of music YouTubers.
Yeah, I don't watch Markiplier regularly, but I've seen him in Among Us games, and the guy can't fucking lie to save his life. So
yeah, no, it's great. He's deeply relatable too. Yeah. That's deeply relatable to me. So he's there I was.
Than me.
So
he's worse at lying than me, and that's saying something.
Like we're talking literally, it's like you're somebody who is so bad at lying, you just don't do it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's deeply relatable. I'm pretty much in the same boat. I generally in Among Us, if I can avoid talking or having to argue for myself, I do. Even if I'm innocent, because there have been points where I've been innocent and people have just been sus, go, you're gone. I'm like, what, but why?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm so fucking mad about it because that's the same thing that happens to me. Yeah. One time I killed 2 bodies and then there were 2 people left. So I ran up, this is one of the 5 times I've ever played Among Us. So I was just like, all right, you know what? I'm calling button. I'm going to convince someone it was the other one. So I did that. And the 2 people that were left, I was playing with a group of my friends and the 2 people that were left were 2 of my female friends. And they were just like, I love you. And then the other one was like, I love you too. Let's kill Zach. I was like, what? Shit. Huh? Come on. I very strategically did this so that I knew when Michaela was going to electrical and I put a body in front of electrical. Anyway, it was really, really infuriating.
I bet.
I hate that.
Yeah. So so I'm watching a lot of Markiplier. It helps me de-stress. There's a lot of music YouTubers. There's Andrew Baina. I love Andrew Baina.
Love him.
Adam Neely, who else? Nick Nocturnal, just a bunch of different people who are really great. There's also I'm big into ContraPoints, Philosophy Tube, all that stuff, and J-Reg. I love J-Reg or Dreg so goddamn much. Do any of you guys watch Dreg at all? Yeah,
I have been introduced and then I never followed up, but yeah, That is really, really good content.
It's so fucking funny.
And
I
just
love
a
him
heads
so
up,
much.
Caitlin will be joining us in a couple of moments.
All right.
Baller.
That's perfect. So she can carry us through to the end with the questions that we can't think of.
Yes.
But I definitely spend way too much time watching YouTube, but like at the same time, like I feel like I can still stay productive while doing it, so I can forgive myself.
Yeah.
Like I was composing string parts to Game Grumps videos last night, so it's fine. You know.
I fucking vocoded that you know that thing from Game Grumps where he's just like he's got the thing in his mouth, he's screaming like more.
Yes, yeah.
And they're just I vocoded that video. I've like put a vocoder to that video and a bunch of synths behind it, and it's like it's really fucking funny.
Can you vocode Bienvenue Power Bottoms so that I can make it my text tone? Thank you.
Can you send me the video and I'll do it?
Bet.
And Caitlin has joined us in the podcast. Thank you, Caitlin, for joining
us.
Hey.
Sorry.
Do you want to redo the intro, or do you want to like?
Oh no, we're just going.
Just retroactively add Caitlin to the intro.
Yeah.
Caitlin, if you want to just say, and in 30 minutes I will be Caitlin. we can edit that in.
Well, time zones, and I guess I misread. I thought we were starting at 2:30.
Oh no, you're totally fine. No, you're like don't.
A bunch of nonsense happened. Like my highlighter broke and it fell all over the floor.
Oh no!
And it's still all over my floor because then I realized what time it was.
Oh, good.
It's fine. Everything's fine. We're alive. We're all here. We're all happy. We're all safe. You got 20 minutes to make an impression.
When you said we're alive, I thought of the song Look Alive by Highwind.
I thought of the song. Oh, sorry, go on.
Where the first line is, look alive, put a smile on your face.
I thought of the song I'm Still Alive, or Still Alive from Portal.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It is.
See, I think of the one from Mirror's Edge.
Yo, real quick. There is a massive Portal Easter egg in Cyberpunk that you need to reach.
Really?
Yes. The
dude
Delamain, the taxi.
Mm-hmm.
His side quest, do it.
Okay. I will do Delamain's side quest.
There's literally like a character that just uses GLaDOS sound clips.
Oh my god.
It's amazing. It's the best shit I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna do that. That's gonna motivate me to pick up that game now.
Yeah, it is legitimately like the best fucking part of the entire game.
Fuck yeah.
But
I love that.
Caitlin, do you have any questions about self-care?
Yeah. What do you do for self-care?
Hold on. We did that one.
Sorry.
No, it's cool.
I am so sorry that I was
seriously,
so late.
I'm just teasing you. It's totally
okay.
fine.
I really thought that the meeting didn't start until 2:30. Like
no,
it's good. Yeah, I'd say it was 2:30 me and Max's time.
Oh, okay. I'm so sorry.
No, I will be including timesheets from now on.
Okay, good. That's the problem with us all being in like 3 different time zones.
Oh my god, no. All right, hold up real quick. So a little peek behind the curtain. I am the one who organizes all of the podcasts. I talk to the bands. If you are messaging the podcast if you are messaging events at missionmusic.com, whatever, who cares?
Events at missionmusicfoundation.com. It's super long.
Yes.
But...
Yeah. Then you are talking to me. Like that is so. I recently we got a huge influx of like people like asking to be interviewed and stuff like that, and I was like, dude, no, it's totally feel like it's great. It's a really good thing. Like hell yeah, but there is this one band from Sweden, and yeah, and they're really, really good. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't like their name a lot.
Oh no.
But they are a really, really good band. It was funny. I opened the email and I was like, Oh, really? All right. Well, it gave me a link. I'll listen to it. And then I was just
afraid
like,
to ask.
oh God, this is so good. And I was just
love
like
it.
very reluctantly, just not even reluctantly, just like very like disappointed in a little bit in myself. Just like, all right, when can you come on the podcast? Like, but it is like impossible to coordinate with them because the one member that would be able to record with us, he's like, oh yeah, I go to work at noon and I get out like super late. And I was just like, okay, well, what's noon for us? And I looked up, I was like, that's 6 a.m. for Blake.
Oh wow.
So I was just like, I don't know if this is gonna be able to work.
Yeah, no, that's time zones. Time zones are rough. We should all just be operating on coordinated universal time. It would make everything.
That would be awesome.
I think that if we had a gigantic sun lamp on the earth at all times.
Oh yeah.
And everything was illuminated. Except we still gave Alaska those 3 days of 24-hour darkness because they deserve to be miserable.
Well then.
All right.
That's what you get for deciding to live in a place called Alaska. You know how close you are to Russia? You know why people are jumping off of roofs in Russia for fun?
People do that other places in the U.S. when there's no snow.
Well, yeah, but the U.S. is just stupid. Russia, like, it's always snowy. So like, they jump off roofs and they're like, oh, I'm fine. But they're really kind of hoping to die because it's the quickest way out of Russia.
The quickest way out of Russia is death.
I love it. I'm sorry, Russian listeners.
Yeah, yeah, all of our Russian listeners. If we do blow up to a point where we have Russian listeners, I do want to just real quick say that's a joke.
Yeah, just preemptively apologize.
I have spent enough time playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare for it to be assumed that I might have a prejudice against Russians. I don't.
We understand that you can't pick where you're born.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You guys have that one pigeon.
You're here. Like
I wouldn't have picked to be born in the U.S. if I could have picked.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Can take me to New Zealand any day. But they also have that one pigeon that saluted Putin, so I have mad respect for Russia.
He saluted him?
Have you never seen that video?
No, I haven't. I love
oh my god,
pigeons.
It's so funny. It's literally it's just Putin walking by and he sees a pigeon just literally just waddling about, and it's like he's got his whole Secret Service detail walking behind him, and he just like looks over at the pigeon and he just like waves a little, and the pigeon just like his wing just like it's a full like 90 degree like it looks like
that's fucking crazy.
He just goes,
that's wild.
And my favorite thing ever is the edit that's just like it just has like a little text on top of it, just goes Privyet.
That almost makes me think that pigeons are government based. Like, have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
They are.
No,
are you kidding me?
So.
Dude,
all of the birds died in 1984 due to Reagan killing them and replacing them with spies that are now watching us.
We all know
they're flying cameras and COVID is so they can change batteries.
Okay, I really hate to shatter your illusion about pigeons because I'm a nerd and I know a whole lot about animals, but the reason you don't ever see baby pigeons is because they don't fledge, like leave the nest until they're almost identical to an adult pigeon.
Fucking basement dwellers.
So what you're saying is a lot of adult pigeons should get canceled.
Yes.
We really need to look into the history of a lot of these pigeons.
God.
Just to be safe. We can't have them and their lack of due diligence like harming our community. We just can't let that happen.
Well, I mean, they're already harming our community. They're government spies.
Yeah. They're shitting on our statues. I mean, I stay in the nest so long. Are you kidding me? I'm 23. I live with my mom.
Except I'm 24.
32 and I live at home, okay? But I'm disabled, so I think I get a pass on that.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think Zach and I do. At this point, I hit 24, so I really gotta.
No, like it's hard
out
there.
But you're
like,
in school.
A lot of people are living at home longer these days because it's just like it's
impossible to buy a house.
To get out on your
own.
Yeah.
I am the only one here who does not get a pass despite being in school because I live by myself and I'm just crazy.
In LA.
Yeah, in LA of all places.
Of all places, ridiculous. And you start and pay for a company.
Whoops.
An insanely admirable human being as you are, I also think that you're a capitalist.
I am the opposite of a capitalist.
No, we were talking about this before either of you guys joined. Did you hear about the GameStonk thing?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. So, as of recording this, it has been 1 day since GameStonk, and
GameStonky.
It only proves our point that we have talked about in the first episode of the Mission Music podcast with just the three of us. It proves our point that money is fake.
Yes.
Nothing is real, and you can do whatever you want with it, but the government won't.
Exactly.
Yeah. It also proves is that it, like, more directly than I think most things, more directly than even like the various fucking financial crashes we've had, is that the system exists to benefit the people who just
who are integrated into it.
Yeah, who are integrated into it, and who are essentially, I mean, the way the stock market works is just there's so many ways around the established way it's supposed to work, and the established way it's supposed to work isn't great either. But it's so easy to cheat. It is so simple to cheat, and the thing is,
it's so easy to cheat. It's already cheated.
Yeah, literally. The thing is, like, when you're integrated, like a lot of these, like, you know, a lot of these wealthier people are, a lot of the wealthier investors, then you're integrated, and it's the kind of too big to fail thing, where it's just you become an organ of this. You become an organ of the machine. And the thing is, the reason they could shut down GameStonk and all the people investing in AMC as well is because none of those people had the, you know, this weird combination of like financial and social capital that you need to like trade there.
Yes.
And it's an incredibly difficult thing to effectively quantify in terms of like the actual damage it does to our country, because I mean it ties into everything that, you know, is wrong with us. It ties into why healthcare is privatized. It ties into why everybody operates on a credit score in this country when they really don't do that in most, if not all, other places in the world. The stock market controls,
which is scary because the gold standard of the world is now the US dollar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And the stock market at the end of the day controls so much of our lives that it effectively controls a lot of our culture. A lot of our culture is controlled by Wall Street and by people who just do all this and who do all this investing and keep, you know, people like the GameStop people out of that. You know, I'm just saying nuke Wall Street is all I'm saying. Nuke Wall Street.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's hilarious because like they're sitting there, they're like, this company's gonna go bankrupt, so that sucks. And then, you know, suddenly, like, we have the first ever like really wide scale example of like people seizing the means of production. You know, like investing in this company, giving them money to continue producing, like, and like because of course, like when Wall Street first starts, like, you know, we don't have Robinhood, we don't have all of these like apps and like all of these this extremely like readily accessible ways to invest, but now all of these people do, and they have a way to share information, and they have capital that they can put into it, which the upper class never expected. So suddenly they're doing it, and now like their plan is going wrong, and they're like, oh, I guess we're just gonna horribly break the law. Like, you know, whatever, I guess, like, no, that's illegal, don't do that. Like, no more. Yeah, it's so weird. But like, it's also hilarious because like, back in 2011, who else here grew up in a middle to upper middle class family and then immediately had to adjust to being a lower middle class family and then growing up later to not being able to accept money as a gift from anyone?
Yeah,
I can never accept money as a gift from anyone. That's something I learned from a very young age. I can't accept money as a gift.
Yeah, about 2011.
Oh no, I mean I learned that from like growing up. That's not even a 2011 thing. It's a German thing. It's the same reason it's the same reason I don't use Apple Pay. It's the same reason I didn't actually have I don't have a credit card. I didn't even have a debit card until like very recently. And I just, when I can pay for things in cash, I generally do. Because I also didn't have Venmo until it became like impossible for me to exist without it, because I've just like got this really ingrained, or until recently I had a very, very ingrained fear about people like just having control of that data to any extent. And I didn't realize that was a German thing until basically I had someone like explain it to me in a very particular way that like is basically like it's essentially like Germans pay for most shit with cash. Germans just are incredibly wary of people like stealing their data to any extent. And it's just, I'm not explaining it well, but there's a lot of very specific stuff because the video's in German and I'm not great at translating. But I watched the entire thing. I'm like, oh, I do that. The entire video is just me doing that.
For me, it's an Italian thing where basically the only thing that we give each other is money.
That's a Korean thing too, where all we give is money.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what part of my family our stuff came from, because my family's mostly Irish and Scottish and some English and a couple other things mixed in, but that's the primary thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure where our stuff came from, but yeah, like, I mean, I've had relatives, a lot of them will give gifts, like money as like a gift for like Christmas and birthdays and stuff, which like, I'm not gonna turn that down, but.
Oh no, yeah. I always for that kind of thing, for literally like an actual gift, like that makes sense.
Yeah. Like I prefer to pay for things in cash though, if I can help it.
Same, yeah. I don't put anything into credit. But like my point is like suddenly like now we just have this thing like, oh, somebody offers you money and it's just like, no, I can't take that. Like I feel like it's such a weird like like a really weird generational thing, because I've asked so many people this and they've all been like, yeah, no, that makes sense, because it's just like the housing crisis completely changed the way that our generation thinks. We're barely even conscious to be aware of it.
By the way, side note about money, I learned this in my psychology class and suddenly everything made sense. We were talking about money and society things because, well, it's just a psychology class and that's everything that you do. And they mentioned how money is technically a secondary reinforcer, but it can also be a secondary punisher.
Oh yeah.
And pretty much what that means is initially money doesn't mean anything, it has no purpose until it does.
Like Bitcoin.
Like for example, if someone were to give me money and I'd be like, great, it has no value, no meaning, it's literally just fucking paper, until I go to use it to trade for something or get something from it.
Yep. Yeah, money is fake.
Everything's fake.
Everything's fake. Nothing is real. Just give everyone $1,000 and be nice.
I feel like that when you don't have money, then it becomes very stark in your mind that it is just paper and that it has no meaning other than what we assign it. And it's like all this grief in my life is because of paper. It's just like
and I mean, like, that's not to say
over it.
That's not to say that, like, you know, somebody who's a doctor shouldn't make more money than somebody like, I don't think that I should make as much money as like a doctor working retail, but
we should all make a living wage.
Yes, I should not be starving on the street working a full-time job. You know, there should not be a housing, like there should not be a homeless crisis, there should not be hunger. All of these things are like, these things should not be governed by money. Luxury, sure, you know, necessity should not.
But like our base needs regardless should be met regardless of our ability to contribute to capitalism.
Absolutely.
I don't agree with that, and it's really frustrating to me somebody who was raised, like in a conservative Christian home, like being taught, to feed the poor, to clothe the people who don't have clothes, to take care of people, to be welcoming to people, and get out there. And there's so many mainstream Christians these days that are like, you can't do that. That's socialism. That's communism. I'm sorry, did we read the same Bible? Like, what are you talking about?
You know what's actually interesting about that? What's interesting about that, as it pertains to communism, specifically Stalinist communism, they are staunchly against charity.
Yeah.
Like it's not something. The reason for it is because, or the philosophical reason behind it is that if you start like basically like donating and just giving to people who are, suffering, they won't have the motivation to join the revolution. And that's a stupid fucking mentality.
It is.
Obviously, because like, really because people aren't going to have time to think about the revolution if they're scraping to get by. But the thing is, like, there is some truth to the idea that if you base all of what, if you like that just a kind of system of charity, particularly in the way that a lot of like American libertarians talk about it, can be like, can really, really hamper societal progress, because it puts the burden of responsibility of like an entire society essentially onto the individual. And in a philosophical sense, that's, there's some truth to the idea that everybody needs to that every individual needs to contribute to a society. But the thing is, it's not the same. Charity is not the same thing as contributing to a society. It's like, once you have that network, and you don't kind of you don't kind of try to build and you're not, once you have that network and you're not trying to build a societal system like like one where, like a state actually takes care of people, then you're kind of fucked. Then you're fucked, because as soon as you run out of money to give, like, what happens? Like the guy you were giving money to starves. Like, it
is a weird, like, because I mean, obviously in a society like that, where like everybody just like, where people think like what communism is just like you get money for doing nothing, like there are jobs
when the government does stuff.
There are jobs where like, so like I don't want to do that. Like there's shitty jobs that someone has to pick up anyway, but they will do it for money. And like, but like if there's no motivation for it, then obviously they're not going to do it. And like, that sucks. But ultimately, like the human nature of greed breeded by systems like capitalism, like just kind of makes it impossible to work past that. And it is a really weird human condition that we live with that was brought on by banks.
Capitalism is really good at maintaining status quo.
Yes.
Very good.
100%. Yeah.
It keeps people, like, because people who are impoverished and people who are struggling, they don't have the energy to do anything about that. They're solely focused on day-to-day survival. And like, to an extent, I agree that like if you give everybody everything that they need, they may lose motivation to work for things. But I feel like that if you give people their base needs, that they'll have motivation to work for other luxury or extra items that they want. Like if you make sure people have food, clothing, shelter, like the basic necessities of life, then they'll have the energy and the desire to work toward other things that they want.
Yeah, like, are you kidding? Like, do you think I spend most of my money on food? No, I spend it on a giant anime sword. And I work my ass off for that. Like, that's what I want. That's how I want to be spending my shit. Like, really, if it means the difference between anime sword and no anime sword, I will start a garden.
Yeah, like I just don't think that if you meet people's base needs, that they'll lose motivation to get other things. I think
they will have the
more
ability
motivation
to get them.
Yes. And I think it puts people on more equal footing. One, so people aren't like in starvation or poverty, and it's just great. And then I don't think it's going to collapse society if you give people like their basic needs.
Yeah.
No,
and ultimately, if it does start to collapse society, then it is the people in that society's responsibility to stop that. And it's not like something everybody's just going to remain complacent, like, whatever, I got my Xbox.
Yeah. Like people are going to care if like the fabric of society starts unraveling. Like they're not going to be like, oh, whatever. I have food, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, especially if they're able to especially if they're able to actively think about and contribute, to that society. Because I think, okay, so we lost something like philosophically, like centuries ago when we just started basing all of our modern philosophy off of like Hobbes and shit. Is that it like Hobbes assumes like the state of nature of humanity, that we're all just like, basically animals until we agree to form a society. And I think that's bullshit. I think if you go back, like, because like Plato said humans are like inherently political animals, and I think there's more truth to that. Because like society wouldn't have formed if we didn't have like a base need or necessity or drive, I guess, like internally to create that kind of network, because we are incredibly social animals. Yeah, exactly. We're inherently political, and we're inherently political creatures in so far as like building societies, and we are inherently motivated to work, but like in terms of like, or to be productive in terms of what is not just good for the society but good for us. And if we manage to build a society that lets us do both those things, like then that becomes gradually just becomes a much more just society. However, the thing is, the way things are now, like you said, it's mostly people focusing on how to get by and focusing on themselves, and unfortunately basing a society off of something where you assume that the base human instinct for a lot of people is to just, not do anything unless they're afraid. That's a problem. Go figure. That's bad for people, because then people become afraid.
And this has been your daily episode of why democratic socialism needs to be more of a thing. Brought to you by Mission Music.
I do want to add one quick thing, like on the subject before we abandon it. That people talking like that humanity used to be like really brutal and like all like fighting each other and everything. It's just, according to like fossil records and anthropologists, it really is not the case. Like there is fossil evidence of human beings working cooperatively in communities.
Like
there's
that.
Also evidence of people taking care of disabled people. Like there are people who could not have survived without a ton of help because of injuries they had or illnesses they had, and they lived into old age.
I remember seeing those. That's always been one of the most interesting things in the world to me.
Oh yeah.
Also, I don't think that it's a static thing that what motivates every human being. And if it was, it'd be so much easier.
Oh, yeah.
But ultimately there are like some people's focus is like, oh, I want status, like I want like to be able to move my way up in the world, and I want to be able to like live comfortably. I want to be, or some people are like, I want to be able to help those around me. Some people are like, I want to be able to attract other people.
Yeah.
Like, some people just want to get laid. Like, and that's valid. It really does depend. If we could find a way to kind of unify everybody's one like motivational desire, it would be way easier to find a thing that works for everybody, but it's just not possible.
Yeah.
And like, it sucks, but if I could just spend my life just getting laid, I'd be happy.
Well, yeah, there's some truth to that, I guess.
Also, I want to quickly point out that I found this post on Tumblr, which I Googled like the facts about it to fact check it, and apparently it's very true. But back in like ancient times, like real ancient times, like before America kind of thing. I'm kidding, but like BC, BC times, in order to pay taxes, you had to reach a certain level of elite status, and it was a very competitive thing within the rich that they would try to pay the most taxes, because if you were paying taxes, you were taking care of the entire society.
Wow, why don't we bring that back?
Athens. That was Athens
like,
where they did that, I think.
Yeah, it was Athens. And it was like, can we bring that back?
Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it's you should take, like, the whole idea of like taking pride in being a citizen and part of a society is like a great thing. And then you just like, but the thing is, like, that kind of thing is now just associated with, you know, like nationalism and racism and all that shit, which really sucks because like,
it's like, don't be a simp.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, don't be a cuck to authority. Like, you can care about people. They don't have to be, and they shouldn't be, you know, like your people. They're people. Yeah. Everybody's people. Like
human beings. God forbid. Nationalism is a disease.
Yeah. We need to be more community oriented on a world scale and not just our backyard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with that, I am so sorry to say this, but we are out of time. Like,
I was gonna say we are, but I do want to leave it off with one very important question. Back to the subject of music, God forbid. Max, if there is one thing that you would want to get across to people with your music, there's like one message that like you like Planet Buster, let's say, just because that's your solo project, it's a lot easier to centrify your personal philosophy on that. What would it be?
Okay, my one message is check out my newest song. It's called Hollow Earth Society. It's on Spotify and Apple Music and all that. It's also
I mean, like, with your music.
I know you meant.
Okay, all right, okay, cool, good. I just wanted to make sure. That was really funny.
My one message, generally speaking, is like all of it ends up being pretty. I mean, I'm kind of like a huge leftist, if you can tell, at least for the most part. And it's like, just I want it to be part of a discussion about a better society, and also me getting angry about how shit society ends up getting sometimes, you know. That's what, like, I released a song with my buddy Rohan called Blue Blood, which is just, you know, that came out like I think it came out in like August, and we all know what was going on during the summer. And you know, like I'm trying to do a lot of what I do doesn't necessarily have vocals, so a lot of it is instrumental, but it's just supposed to be just a soundtrack to doing better and smarter things. You know, it's supposed to motivate people to think better, which is like a lot of, you know, because I tend to get that from like a lot of the more like instrumental stuff that I listen to as well. It gets me to think, like with a lot of the post-rock stuff, or a lot of the North Lane instrumental stuff that I really love too. It's like, it gets my brain working and thinking, and that's the kind of thing that I want to do, even if there aren't any, you know, lyrics.
I love that. You can definitely create like a mood and atmosphere with just sounds alone, like without any lyrics. I mean, I guess singing
like every time I listen to Polyphia, I want to fuck.
I have feelings about Polyphia.
We got one track mind today.
No, truly, it's always. No, come on. I have a tweet that was retweeted by Tim Henson that's just like, ladies, really? When Polyphia comes on, he grinds on you.
See, for me, that's just the old Polyphia. That's like everything from
like Sweet Tea, dude. Come on, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, Muse and earlier. Specifically, dude, Champagne fucks. Champagne is, I think, one of their best songs. It's just so good.
So with that, I'm Blake.
I'm Caitlin.
I'm Zach.
I'm Max, I guess.
And this was OnlyBands.
OnlyBands.
Thank you so much for joining.